Good morning everyone, we are on what is the last of our stable tours for the week. We've come to visit Erwan Charpy, the French trainer based at Meydan Racecourse, so that's something a little bit different. You see this road I'm driving on here is about 1.5 kilometres long, and it's got various stables positioned either side. We're just about to cross one of the horse paths. These horse paths are linked to all the stables to give them a way to the Meydan training track and the Meydan main track. See here we're now pulling into green stables, aptly known because it has a green roof, believe it or not. You'll see that later on. I think Erwan's been based here since 1994, and he will go on a little bit later to talk about that as well. Now you will see that has been sort of the theme of the week, that I was slightly hampered by microphone issues. But not to let that get in the way, we tried to make the best of the stable tour, and we visited Erwan here, obviously going through his morning routine, checking the horses. This is a pre-walking ring, so all the horses come out here first before they make their way to the normal walking ring, where Erwan will look over them all. And then if they're sound and ready to go, off they go to the trotting ring and then up to the main track or the Meydan. Well, it's up to the training track we go with Erwan and his first lot. It was very windy, so we had to take into consideration wind factor, but we tried to do the best we could. There we go. This is what happens in the morning. Trainers dancing.
You don't have sun and you don't have horses.
So we're here at the training track. Would you be able to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean we alternate in the morning between the main track and the training track. I mean I've been mainly we're taking to the training track on the Tapeta, mostly horses who are turf orientated, and at the moment I've got Mujib, which is a nice little Dubawi. I've got Mukalal, who is running Sunday in Abu Dhabi, and Mudarab has been a horse who has been running over the distance on the Tapeta. We alternative. We go on the Tapeta, or on the day the turf course is open, we work on the training track turf, which is a really nice little turf track that I really like, especially for older horses like that. They're just enjoying because it's not such a big track. This is Mudarab. He's a mainly staying type horse. This is Mujib. He's a 7 furlong Dubawi. And Mukalal has been a difficult horse to keep sound. He ran the other day a little bit too fresh after a year off, and he's running back Sunday. I think he should have a fair chance. It's quite a big horse. Last year he ran only 2 times last year, won and was third in a listed race. And at this time of the day, that's what we do. We have a few on the Tapeta and a race trotting at home, because mainly we are racing on dirt, so I try to train them on dirt. Those they are turf horses, and I find it difficult to keep them sound on the dirt, so that's why we come here with it. This is a lot. I mean, with a few fillies, I tend to take the fillies a little bit later because I think they benefit from getting the sun on their back. And the first one is an Arabian filly. She ran twice, ran second twice. She's running Sunday. Hopefully she will win. And there's a 3-year-old, No Nay Never filly after that, and a few older horses. One of them being a naughty horse in the gate, so he's going to have a session at the gate. Again, he's a regular customer for the gate. We use, I come from a show jumping background, so we use a little bit of bungee, and I quite like try to get them to build up their back in the natural way rather than it's part of where I come from. She's having a canter. This girl having a canter, little canter. Celui-là, on va à un halt, on part directement, et puis en progression du cap.
D'accord.
Lui il fait un.
On va faire tranquille.
Ouais. Et lui aussi, puis on va au droite. So this, we, as old trainer, we just go by a lot, and we start at 6. 6 on the main track, 7 in the training track, 8 on the main track, 9 we have main track, or sometimes we've got a horse pass where a shaded horse pass where we take horses to trot or to relax, and it's just nice way, and then we've got the remaining horses after that. At the beginning of the season we had to start very early, but I'm not too keen to train in the dark, because I think we have the chance over here to have the sun, and having horses benefiting from the sun. That's why I especially take the filly a little bit later, so they can get a little bit of warmth and sun on their backs. And as we have this horse pass shaded with trees, it's nice when we come back from the track. It's nice and cool. It's a nice way to relax. What we do, we trot. They are in the walking ring. We give the instruction, and then they trot here. If we are all happy with them, they are the warm-up trot. We'll go to the track. It's just part of and it's quite nice, because here we are on our own. We just the horses are very relaxed. It's
very peaceful.
Yeah, it's and as well, there's no, in the way we run the barn, there's no shouting around. It's just very quiet. And a lot of birds, a lot of wildlife. From time to time we've got gazelles coming across, and foxes, and really you don't really think you are in Dubai.
It's a nice warm-up, isn't it, from your stables
Yeah,
to the...
it's nice, and it's nice as well coming back, because it's very quiet and very relaxing, Just it's not too far, but close enough. Quiet at this time of the day.
It's lovely.
Yeah, when it's just and as well now there's
Tunnels.
so few meetings left that a lot of people are already late. just keep them going a little bit.
Well, there are a maze of tunnels like we are travelling through here now. This gets us to the chute here up on the main Maidan track, but like I say, there are many tunnels underneath the Maidan racecourse that sort of get you from A to B, from the saddling boxes to the receiving barn and to the parade ring. Here's Erwan's horses making their way out onto the main track. It was really windy here, so we couldn't really pick up much sound from Erwan, and we just thought it'd be better to watch the horses working. You see how wide the track is here. It's absolutely huge, and at this time of the morning, Erwan's lucky enough to pretty much have it to himself. As you'll see, this particular morning in question, I was not the only person filming at the track on my iPhone. Erwan himself was stood at the ready, taking videos for owners. His horse seems to be going perfectly well there. And afterwards, a quick debrief with stable jockey Clément Lecoeuvre. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. My French is not the best. And across we go to the stalls team. A dedicated team of stalls handlers are here in Dubai for the season, for any gate schooling. They'll go and visit all the stables if needs be, school whichever horses they need to, and then pass them for the gates on race day. There is the starter for the Emirates Racing Authority, Shane Ryan. He does an excellent job in schooling these horses and helping to school them and pass them for the races. We will head back to Green Stable now. Training on the tracks has finished, and get a bit more of a stable tour from Erwan himself.
That's our little oasis.
It's wonderful.
We even grow on dates. Yeah.
Great, and you've got the only round pool in Dubai, is it, I think?
Yes. Yeah, let's check on them. He took me to his camel place where there was round pool and asked me where I wanted mine. Let's see who got it built for us. It's a round pool, but it's quite a big round pool, so we're using it a lot for difficult horses overweight or with a few leg problems, so we can keep a level of fitness. It's actually a nice tool, you know. And, usually we swim in the morning after exercise, but from time to time we have horses swimming in the afternoon as well. We go one way, left-handed one day, right-handed the other day. It's quite a good help as well for stiff horses. It's just help loosen them up. It's heated up in the winter because they tend to turn their coat if the water is not warm enough. So at the moment it's quite hot, it's about nearly 30 degrees of water. Because we had a few hot days and it's been still cold at night, so.
Yeah, the weather's changed a lot this year.
Yeah, it's been up and down, which over here you have to be careful because they they can turn they're so used to the good weather here. If when there is this cold spell and a hot spell, they can turn their coat very quickly, and if they start having their winter coat, they get really hot during the day or when racing. So this horse is a 3-year-old. Is very tight shoulder and back, so we've been swinging him to loosen him up. He's had a lot of chiropractor, acupuncture, and swimming. He's been going better, but he's been growing a lot. So I think it's just part of a young horse growing process.
And summertime, what would you kind of do with them in the summer? Just
summertime,
swimming
at the end of the season, we try to keep them going as long as we can, because I don't like to stop them from racing to nothing. So we wind them down for a few weeks or sometimes a few months. It all depends how many people I've got leaving on holiday, and then we start again mid-July. It's quite hot, but we start slowly trotting for 3 weeks or a month, and then gradually pick up the pace. And it's all depend of the year. When the weather is very, very hot, we tend to wait before doing any fast work. We tend to wait that the weather cool down a little. It's mainly humidity with bad. And it's for horses who are not too used to swim. We tie their tail with a rope so we can keep their top line up. So it does help finding their feet. This is a big noble mission. 3-year-old was bought at the Cravens, but he's grown so much. I mean, he's just he was never going to be a 2-year-old. He will be okay next season, but it's just have to give him time to get fit into his body. That's the operation room. Actually, I came in '94, so that's 26 years ago. This stable was one of the first 2 stables to be built, originally on the Nadal Shiba ground. We had the Nadal Shiba racetrack right at the end of our driveway, and I took over the stable, who had been run by an American for a couple of years. But the year I came, they were actually they had people from different countries, and they were looking for a Frenchman to come. So they had adding all different people and their background, and as well, being able to talk to and represent Dubai into their own country. And it was my first experience because we had and we still have thoroughbred and Arabian horses. I already loved Arabian horses. Had quite a few success with some really neat horses, including Manach, who won, with a picture there, who won the Kerala Classic. I had many Kerala Classic good runners and trained many good Arabian and as well thoroughbred. I mean, it's just been quite a nice journey, and was lucky to be part of this growing structure. We started with racing where we were a few of us, having a few runners per race, and then added a few more racetrack. I think Sharjah, and there was Gamtut at the time. Then there was the International Jockey Challenge, who was the first flavor of international racing, and then of course Dubai World Cup, the Carnival, which has been quite an interesting journey to see. And it's always been really nice to see all these international trainers, all the big international horses coming to Dubai. Being able to interact with a lot of them. I mean, it always being a buzzing place.
What's been your particular highlight, sort of your best moment training here in all these years?
It's difficult. I mean, I really had many enjoyable moments. I mean, I really liked it early on. It was very, very small community. There was at the same time we were competitive, but at the same time we were kind of building up the reputation of Dubai on the racing scene. So that was great, you know, going. I mean, I went to run horses in Hong Kong, in Qatar, and I mean, there's many good moments. I mean, you know, I loved when we won the Kerala Classic, because I've been runner-up a few times. I've been picked on the wire a few times, and Arabian horses are really some, you know, horses I really love. So, and especially with this horse was a little bit complicated horse, and he jumped from winning a group of a 7 furlong to going and winning the Kerala Classic quite easily. So that was really satisfying. But there was many other time, you know. I had a nice filly, Feria Cruzada, from Brazil, who came, and she won Mactum Challenge. We had, but even other horses, you know, the satisfaction of bringing horses. I always liked challenge. So bringing difficult horses to perform, even if that's not at the highest level, but just the satisfaction of tuning a horse who had problem or who's been difficult, and being able to bring him to performance. Probably that gives me as much enjoyment as winning a big race. It's actually one U-shaped stable, who was the original green stable, with about 48 stalls in there, and then there's a little barn at the back. And at one stage there was we got quite an influx of horses, and they built some temporary cage box where we had horses for a while. So mainly there's 64 stalls and some additional cage boxes. This is our color room. Where we keep all the equipment to go racing, and some of the trophies, and a few of the main thing, the Kerala Classic. That's races from Shindu, when we used to go for 5 years. At the end of the season, we used to go to Shindu in China, in Sichuan. There's a couple of reminder of Hong Kong, and few places, and it's just been quite an interesting journey so far. And at the moment, I think over 540, winners in the UAE. Feed room. We mostly feed some mix, and for Shekandam horses we're on red meal. For the rest of the horses we were on berries. We're just now switching onto the real feed meal. It's all one by one feeding, and as well on 2 nights a week, on Thursday night and Sunday night, we do the good old-fashioned mash. That's a very French way of cooking barley and linseed. I quite like it, especially Thursday night. Usually we work quite a few horses on Thursday and they're racing on Thursday. So at night is something they really like. So they're eating, and so that helps recover. And Sunday night is the same. So that's part of our routine. It's an old-fashioned way that nutritionist doesn't like it too much because they feel that's no good because it's breaking the cycle of the proper digestion. But the horses like it and they are happy, and it's a good way to get them to eat a full meal after racing rather than looking at the manger and leaving half the feed. And I think we gain more by more recovery by having them eating after racing rather than what they feel we lose of digestion and guts problem. But we don't have too many problems. We had a few colic, but not that many. This is our fire room. Because we race on, we're training on sand and we've got rubber flooring. We mainly shoe total aluminium. I've always been quite keen in shoeing. So, that's probably from my time with Neil Geiser in America, where he was very particular about shoeing. So that's something I enjoy a lot. We are quite keen to experiment and to try to solve problems by shoeing, and we try to do it a lot more, doing correcting shoeing rather than injecting horses. It's been a more natural way. Over the year we've been evolving as well a lot, working with chiropractor, osteopath, and all this kind of thing, even acupuncture. Something has been very enjoyable, quite interesting to keep up with what's happening. We use spa, we use spa boots, we use cryo ultrasound. It's part of the process. Okay, that's your tour of Greenstable. So good luck with all of you for the future, and we hope to see you eventually in Dubai one day.